Hey everyone, Josh here from Fresh Start Customs, and today we're going to be going over why your Glowforge may not be cutting through your material. This is a common question or a common issue that comes up, and I want to go over all the troubleshooting steps that I can think of off the top of my head here to help you guys out. And if these don't work, you may have to contact support because you may actually have something going on with your machine. So let's go ahead and dive in here. What I have here is I have the actual proof grade material here. These should cut through every time with proof grade settings. And then you have like non-proof grade material that you're going to have to do a lot of testing with your own settings. So if you're cutting something that's non-proof grade, then you're going to have to test all your settings and make sure it's not the settings first. Even with proof grade material, you're going to have to make sure the proof grade material settings are selected, because the most common thing that I see is somebody will have the power set to 1 power, thinking that it's on full power, and then it doesn't cut through because it has no power to actually cut through. That's another thing why you may not actually see the laser beam come out, is because it's so low power. So if you're having that issue, that could be something going on there too. So now that we have the actual settings out of the way, because that's the most common thing, just test your actual settings until you can actually get it to cut through properly on your material if you're using non-proof grade material. So now let's go over other common issues or mistakes that new owners have that can be commonly corrected pretty easily. So as you can see, this is how it should properly be in there. It should be completely flat. In this actual lip here on both sides, you must be in that lip. So let's say, for example, if you put your material in here like this and you just make it flat up against this black, it's not going to cut properly. The reason why is it's angled like this, and then when it sets focus, it's not going to be able to tell the height of that material. It has this huge gap right here. It's not going to cut properly. So what you're going to have to do is butt it up right against this lip, just like this. You can actually lock it into place just like that, and then it falls right into place there. And you have a lip on this side as well that you can't see on camera. So just make sure it's in both sides of those lips and in front of this lip up front here. Obviously you don't have to put the tray down to put your material in. I'm just doing that for the video here to show you a better view here. So now that we have that out of the way, common mistakes, I'm going to go ahead and pull this material out of here, and we're going to go over the actual crumb tray itself. So the crumb tray itself could be the actual issue. So if the crumb tray is bent in any way, you have that same issue where the material may be sloped off, and that might be causing the issue. There's also 4 feet underneath the crumb tray. And then there's 4 divots in the bottom of the Glowforge that those feet fall into. So right now mine are properly secured in place. It's got a little bit of a wiggle room, but you can push it all one way, it'll lock into place, push it the other, it'll lock into place. Just make that as straight as possible in those divots. So that's properly set up. But let's say, example here, let's say if I pull this out and then I move it out of the divots. So that's completely out of the divots now. So there's a big slant. It's not properly set. You do not want to do that. You want to make sure they're right in the divots, just like that. It just fell right back in the divots. Let me go ahead and pull this out really quick so you guys can possibly take a look at this. It may not work on camera here, but we'll see. So right here is a divot here. There's one back there, one over here, and one over here. You may not be able to see it here. What I'm going to do is have you guys refer back to a cleaning video that I did that shows all of the insides of the Glowforge and different things that you're going to have to clean. And we're going to get to that here just a second in this video too. So that's pretty much all you want to do. You want to make sure each of these divots are free from debris. So there's a little bit of debris in mine, not much, but I'll clean that out later here. But you want to make sure that's free of debris so it's nice and flat and even. I'm going to go ahead and put this tray back in, and then we'll go ahead and hit the next section here. Alright, so as you can see, I just wiggled that back and forth, make sure it's locked into place. It is. So the final, well, there's a couple things I'm going to backtrack on as well, but the next step here is going to be cleaning your laser lenses. So there's a lens way back in here, and you're going to refer to the cleaning video for all of these. I'm just going to point them out here and keep this nice and short as possible. There's a lens back here. There's a lens right on the left side of this Glowforge head, or the right side, depending on which way you want to look at it. And there's a lens right underneath the Glowforge, the main lens under there. You will need that blue lens tool. You can check out that video that I'll link below as well. And then there's a mirror that you pull out right here as well. So all of that's in detail in that other video, so you can see a closer, better look, a better camera angle. You'll want to make sure all of your lenses are clean, because if your lenses are dirty, then what's going to happen is that that laser isn't going to get through full power, and that's going to cause all sorts of issues. So next up, what you want to do is clean your fans. So there's a fan way back in there. That is your main fan. You can probably get at it from behind if you have the Pro, since you will have the metal cooling sink in there. So you'll want to do it from behind, just like I show in some of those cleaning videos. Another thing is let me go ahead and move my laser head over here. Right behind this laser head on this side is the air assist fan. So they have the proper way to do it online on the Glowforge website under support. I personally have yet to have to take it apart to clean it, because I always clean it from the back with an air can and straw cleaners. So I've had this for 2 years and haven't had to clean that fully yet, but it's getting pretty close that I actually have to do it. That is a main contributor of why the material wouldn't cut through, because it can't blast that debris that's getting blasted by the laser out fast enough. And then finally, there's a real tiny fan on the back side of your laser head. So it's way back here, real small. Be real careful and clean that off as well. So if none of those are working, it could be your material still. So let's go ahead and go back to the material, show you some other things that could be commonly happening here. So here's your material. There's a slight bow to this material. As you can see, it's very slight. What you can do is you can go online to the Glowforge community. You can get one of these little pins. It's probably extremely hard to see on camera. There you go. You can use one of these little pins that you can get from the Glowforge community. You can print these off your Glowforge itself. And then you just push those right in your little crumb tray here, and it locks them down into place. So that'll keep your material nice and flat. The reason why you want it nice and flat is the same reason why I said over here that you don't want it lapping this little ledge here. Whenever you use set focus, so let's say you use set focus dead center right here, and that material is higher, like if I take this out and it's got that bow, it's going to think that the material is higher over here, and then it's lower over here, but it can't tell the difference that it's lower over here and higher over here, so it's going to cut differently. And then that may cause it to not cut through. So you want to just push that through, pin it down, make sure it's nice and flat, then use set focus, and then you're good to go. One other thing that you can run into with set focus, if you don't manually set focus onto the wood itself, and then this thing auto sets focus onto like an area you already cut out, like this for example, and it hits that crumb tray, it's setting focus at as low as that crumb tray and not as high as this material, so it can't tell how thick that material is. So it's not going to properly cut through. So that's pretty much it, you guys. If none of those things work for you, you will need to contact support. More than likely you have an issue with your laser not putting out enough voltage, or the tube may have ran out itself. But they will actually be able to pull logs of what is going on with your machine, since it is cloud-based. So that's one benefit of being cloud-based. So they'll be able to pull those logs, see what's going on. They'll troubleshoot it as best as they can over email. I know it takes a little bit to get an email back, but it'll be worth it, and then they'll be able to tell you whether they need to replace the machine or not. So that's pretty much it for troubleshooting your materials and not cutting through. One last thing that I didn't mention that you will want to do is you'll want to clean your lens on top of your Glowforge, the actual lens on the lid. You'll see that in the cleaning video too if you flip over to that as well. What that does is that actually allows you to take the picture in the Glowforge, so that'll just help with accurate placement. So not so much cutting through, but that'll help like if your actual placement of the cuts are wrong. So just a heads up on that as well. But that is pretty much it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope you benefited from this video in some way, and we'll catch you guys next time.